What's up? It's your boy Fats. Prison ain't the life for anybody because once you up in there and somebody gets mad, things could kind of change up in there for an individual. I mean, you could lose your life real fast up in there once somebody get mad up in there. But yeah, one day I'm coming back from the yard, going back to my cell house. This dude named Ice rolled up on me. He's like, "Hey, Fats." I'm like, "Shit, what's up, man?" He's like, "DB, man, he wants you to send him a little package over in a hole." I'm like, all right. I was like, shit, I ain't really got that much, but shit, I could send him what I got. And he was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? He was like, shit, just meet me at the yard tomorrow. And I was like, all right, okay, that's cool. So I get back to the cell house. Now, my cellie, his name is Johnson. So I get up in there. I'm like, hey, Johnson. I say, hey, you got a little tobacco that you can let me hold on until I get some more. That way, you know, I can send this over to DB. And he's like, shit, Fats, I ain't even got that much, you know, as of right now. You know, I ain't really got none. I was like, okay, that's cool. I said, shit. So while I'm sitting there, I was like, shit, I'm mindful, just wait. So the next day I go out to the yard, I see Ice. I'm like, I'll tell Ice, I was like, hey, man, you might have to wait until I get some more stuff before I can actually, you know what I'm saying, give DB something because as of right now, I ain't really got that much. So probably a week go by, I finally get my stuff. So I'm like, shit, okay. So I see Ice in the chow hall. I'm like, shit, come out to the yard, you know, and pick that up for DB. He's like, all right. So I get out to the yard, you know, I get back to my little cell, wrap it up real quick, real good, you know, go out to the yard, give it to Ice. And I'm telling Ice, you know what I'm saying, make sure that, you know what I'm saying, they can get up in there. He's like, shit, it's going to get up in there. I was like, all right. So then later on that day, it was like a emergency lockdown. So we all locked down. So I'm like, damn. So while I'm sitting up in my cell talking to Johnson, I'm like, shit, man, I hope DB got that stuff, you know, because we on lockdown right now and ain't no really no movement or anything like that. So we was probably locked down probably about 4 days. So then after lockdown, I get out, come out there, you know, to the chow hall. I'm sitting up in the chow hall. I'm waiting on Ice to get up in there so I can see if he actually got that from DB. So Ice get up in there, sit down at the table. I'm like, shit, you get it to DB? He's like, yeah, I gave it to him. I was like, okay, that's cool. You know, I said, shit, the lockdown didn't mess up anything, did it? He's like, nah, it didn't. It didn't mess up nothing. Fats. I was like, all right, that's cool. So I get up, go back to my little cell, sitting up in my little cell talking to Johnson, you know, because we just got on with something. So we kind of kicking and parlaying a little bit, you know. And I'm asking him, you know, he going through some relationship problems with his girl and stuff. So I'm listening to his whole conversation, man, just shaking my head like, damn, man, that's kind of messed up, you know what I'm saying? That you in a hurry after fall out like that. And he's like, yeah, that is, you know. Because in prison, I mean, all the time, you know what I'm saying, somebody leaves their wife up in there because their wife probably can't do the time or they stressing over money or something like that. You know, I mean, people lose relationships all the time up in prison. So I go to chow, go to the yard, I see Ice again. I'm like, shit, man, what's up, man? He's like, shit, nothing, man. I was like, shit, man, what DB talking about? Because I guess he works over in the hole. He's like, man, he ain't talking about nothing. He's just a little mad, you know. Now, DB, me and DB is cool, but we kind of fell out a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So we was kind of, you know what I'm saying, a little beefing a little bit, but we wasn't beefing like that. We just fell out over a little situation before he went to the hole. So I'm like, shit, he all right up in there? And he's like, yeah, man, he's cool, man. You know, he's just doing his little whole time. And once he do his little whole time, he gonna be back up out of here. I was like, all right, man. So, you know, we going back and forth, you know what I'm saying, every day. So probably a week go by. I'm sitting up in my cell. Somebody knock at the door, you know. Johnson get up. He go open the door. Somebody's right there. I don't know who it is or whatever, but they like, hey, we got a note for Fats. So I'm like, shit, all right. So Johnson get the note. He give it to me. I'm reading it and it's saying something like, man, why you play me like that, man? You know what I'm saying? You supposed to give me something, but shit, you ain't giving me nothing. You know, I ain't never received anything. He said, man, what's going on with you, man? You know? So I'm like, damn, man. I was like, shit, man, I thought Ice gave that shit to him. So I'm telling Johnson, man, damn, man, Ice didn't even give it to him. So Johnson's like, shit, man, that's kind of messed up, you know. He getting that stuff and ain't taking it to people or whatever. And I was like, shit, man, damn, man. I was like, shit, we're gonna have to hurry up and deal with this because shit, I ain't trying to get into no miscommunication with DB because, like I said, me and him already was on bad terms and stuff, and I don't want that shit to, you know what I'm saying, escalate and to be something else. So I'm sitting up here kind of nervous and stuff a little bit, you know what I'm saying, because I know DB can fight a little bit. So I'm telling Johnson, man, this is fucked up, man. You know, he's like, shit, man, just go holler at Ice, man, and see what's up with that, you know. So the next day I go out to the yard. I'm out there waiting for Ice. He didn't show up out on the yard. So I'm looking kind of, you know what I'm saying, like, damn, man, why he ain't coming out? So then the next day I go out to the yard again. He didn't come out there again. So now I'm feeling like, damn, man, did I just get played? You know what I'm saying? Or something like that? Because shit, I mean, he always come to the yard. People always see each other out there and stuff like that. So I'm saying to myself, shit, hopefully I ain't get played or nothing like that. Or hopefully, you know, me and DB don't fall out over no bullshit or whatever. So I get back to my little cell. Now I'm telling Johnson, I'm like, man, I ain't seen him out there. He's like, man, I seen him earlier today. You know what I'm saying? He was walking the yard earlier. And I said, oh, did you? And he was like, yep. I was like, shit, damn. I said, I ain't seeing him no time really right now. So I'm getting kind of frustrated. I'm like, damn, man. Johnson looking at me like, man, you all right, man? I was like, shit, nah, I'm cool, man. You know, I said, shit, but DB, man, he's kind of, you know what I'm saying, upset. And so he was like, damn, man. He said, shit, I hope that ain't nothing gonna happen when y'all get out. And I was like, shit, I hope not either, because shit, I ain't really trying to get into no type of beef with DB. So the next day, I go out to the yard. I don't see I don't see Ice at all. So I'm like, shit, damn, man. So a few days later, you know, I'm like, shit, I'm gonna go up to the cell house and see if somebody can go here and get him to come outside. So I go over to the other cell house. I'm sitting outside when people come up in. I'm like, shit, what cell house you in? People telling me different cell houses. They ain't telling me B cell house, you know. So I'm like, damn, man. So finally somebody come and B cell house. I'm like, hey, man, go in there and tell Prude to come outside, you know. So dude go up in there. I guess I don't know what he tell him or whatever, but shit, I'm sitting out there probably about 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? That's when the guard come out there and he's like, you got to know you got to keep moving. You can't be sitting out front right there. I mean, some guards is assholes like that. Some guards ain't, you know. Some guards want to write you up for some more, for you being out of area. That's a class 3 because I was out of area because I was trying to get him to come out the cell house. So he didn't come out. So I get back to my cell house. I'm telling Johnson, man, I said, man, I don't know what's up with Ice, man. I said, man, he didn't even come out the cell house. And he's like, shit, man. He's like, Fast, don't worry about that, you know what I'm saying? He said, just try to figure out another way to get something over to DB. And I was like, all right. So I went to go holler at this dude named Mr. T. You know, he kind of ran everything around the compound and stuff. So I was like, hey, man, Mr. T. He's like, shit, what's up, Kansas City? I was like, shit, nothing, man. I was like, man, I need to get a package over there in the hole for somebody. He's like, shit, I can holler at somebody for you, but I don't know if when it's gonna actually be that they can actually get it over there to him, but I can holler at somebody. So I was like, all right. So the next day I'm in breakfast, sitting down at the table eating. That's when I seen Ice come in there. So when he come up in there, I'm like, hey man, come here, man, bring your ass here, man. He's like, shit, what's up, Fats, man? I was like, man, you didn't get that shit to DB. He said, yeah, I did, man. I said, nah, you didn't. I said, and then I had the letter, little note. I said, man, here's the note right here. Read it, man. So he reading it, you know, and he look up at me looking kind of suspense or whatever. And I was like, shit, man, I told you, man, you didn't give that shit to him. He's like, yeah, I did, man. Yeah, I did. So I'm like, shit, man. I don't know why DB saying that you didn't give it to him. He's like, shit, yeah, I did, man. Come on, man. I ain't on no bullshit like that, man. If somebody give me something, I'm gonna go ahead and take it to him. I was like, shit, man, that don't even sound right, you know what I'm saying? So why would DB, be telling me that he didn't get nothing when you supposed to have gave it to him? I was like, shit, man, that's kind of fucked up. So a couple days later, that's when Mr. T come over. He's like, hey, Fats, I got somebody that can get it up in there to you. I was like, all right, man. I said, you have to give me a few minutes, you know what I'm saying? Let me go to my cell, get the stuff, and bring it back out. But when I got back to the cell, they locked it down to where we couldn't get back out. So I had to wait till the next day to go holler at Mr. T. So when I'm at breakfast, I see him. I was like, shit, come to the 12 o'clock yards, and I'll make sure that I bring it out then. He's like, all right, you know what I'm saying, Kansas City, man, I'll see you at 12. I was like, all right. So I go back to my cell, packed it up again, you know what I'm saying, real good, tape it up. 12 o'clock come, I go out to the yard. I see Mr. T over there, like I said, playing dominoes because he loved dominoes. He playing dominoes. So I give him, you know what I'm saying, the little thing. He puts it in his pocket. He's like, shit, I'll make sure that I give it to him. I was like, shit, man, make sure, man. I said, because the last motherfucker got me kind of questioning what's kind of going on with that, because shit, I don't know what kind of happened between, you know what I'm saying, Ice and, he posted, took it over there. He was like, oh, you had Ice bring it over there? He said, man, that dude, man, I don't know what's up with him, man. I was like, shit, man. He said, man, that dude's kind of funny style, man. One way he's this way, one way he's that way. He said, man, you just got to kind of watch him. And I was like, all right, man, you know what I'm saying? I said, I ain't gonna fuck with him no more or anything. If he need me to do anything for somebody, I ain't gonna do nothing when it comes to him. I just find somebody else to kind of bring it over there. So Mr. T, next day, Mr. T was like, yeah, I got it to him. I was like, shit, that's cool. But you know what I'm saying? When I put the thing in, I put a note in there letting them know that, hey, I ain't had nothing to do with that. So one day I get up, go to the yard, and I'm out on the yard. That's when Ice come out there. He's like, hey, Fats, man. He's like, man, why'd you tell DB I didn't get nothing or whatever? And I was like, shit, you didn't. You know what I'm saying? You didn't give him nothing. So for you to sit up here and be like, shit, you ain't tripping about nothing or whatever, because shit, like I said, when DB get out, you and him gonna have to, you know what I'm saying, figure that out. I said, shit, I already don't came up off a loss twice or whatever. Shit, I ain't trying to come up off no more losses, or you know what I'm saying, dealing with anybody else or anything like that. So Ice was like, shit, man, I told you, man, I gave it to him. I was like, shit, nah, you did, man. I don't think you gave it to him, because DB ain't gonna be lying or nothing like that when it comes to certain stuff. So Ice like, shit, I'm telling you, fast man, I did give it to him. I was like, shit, you handed it straight to him, or did you give it to somebody else and they gave it to him? He said, nah, I handed it straight to him. I was like, shit, mm-mm-mm. I was like, shit, I don't know, man. So I kind of, you know what I'm saying, when we got to talking and stuff, I just turned around and walked away from him, because I didn't want to deal with that old lying shit, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, because he was kind of lying. And then plus, you know, I ain't want to get kind of physical with that motherfucker, because he was on some old bullshit or whatever. So I just kind of walked off from that whole situation right there. I was like, shit, I'm just going to let DB kind of handle that stuff out, because shit, as of right now, shit, I don't know who's telling the truth. I just got to wait for him to get out, for all of us get together, and we can kind of figure this out. So then every day Ice is homie. He's like, shit, man, I'm telling you, Fats, man, I ain't had nothing to do with that, man. I gave that man that stuff. I was like, shit, man. Like I said, man, he keep telling me that you ain't give it to him, you ain't give him his shit. So I'm like, shit. Like I said, when he get out, we all gonna have to just sit down and kind of deal with him, you know what I'm saying, for a minute. So Ice was like, shit, all right, man. And the way that he looked, it was kind of confusing or whatever. He's saying put his head down, and he kind of walked off when he said, all right, we'll figure it out, you know what I'm saying? I was like, shit, all right, man. I was like, shit, if you got anything or whatever, because he already knows how DB is. I mean, DB was a wild motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, shit, he about to get out. I don't know how long it's gonna be before he get out or whatever, but whenever he get out the hole, we just gonna have to kind of figure everything out. So one day I get up in the morning, I'm going to chow. I'm sitting at the chow hall table, you know what I'm saying? I'm eating, you know what I'm saying, my food. I seen DB walking in. And when he's walking in, you know what I'm saying, he got shot in the leg, so he kind of limping a little bit, you know, when he walked. He's like, hey, Fast, let me holler at you, man. Let me holler at you. Before he even get his tray going around. So he seen me over and then sitting at my table. So he's in the line, going through the line, and he's yelling over, hey, Fast, man, stay, man. I'm going to need to holler at you, man. I was like, all right, man. I was like, shit, man, it's about to go down, you know what I'm saying, over here, you know. So when DB sits down, he's like, shit, man, what's up, man? He's like, man, I thought you were supposed to send that little packet, the care package over there. I was like, man, I did, man. I gave it to Ice, man, to give it to you. He's like, shit, Ice didn't ever give me nothing. I was like, man, you sure, man? He didn't give you nothing? He's like, man, I'm positive, man, Fast, man. He said, man, I ain't think you would play me like that, you know, when it comes to that. I said, man, I ain't trying to play you or anything like that. We just sitting up there talking. He was like, shit, man, shit, you know, when it comes to certain stuff, man, you already know how I roll and stuff. So I was like, yeah, man, I already know how you gotta get down, you know. I was like, shit, he's like, we gonna holler at Ice on the yard. And I was like, all right, man. So 12 o'clock come. I'm sitting on the yard waiting on DB to get out there. He pull up, you know. He's like, shit, where that motherfucking Ice at, you know. So finally when Ice come out there, we all walking the track and we talking and stuff. And DB's like, Ice, man, you didn't give me nothing, man. And Ice like, shit, man. Damn, man. He didn't really know what to say on that. And he was like, man, where my shit at, man? Where my shit at? And Ice looking at him like with his head down, like, shit, man, damn, man. He was like, DB, man, I ain't mean to do nothing like that. He was like, man, shit, man, you're gonna have to pay or something, man. You're gonna have to do something, man, because shit, that's some more bullshit what you just pulled on me right there. He's like, shit, you already know how we is in the penitentiary. I mean, in prison, when somebody get mad, you never know what can kind of happen up in there. Somebody could lose their life. I mean, you might end up getting beat up real bad. You could get your manhood taken. I mean, anything can kind of happen up there once you kind of owe somebody something. So they going back and forth, you know, boom, 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 boom. So I'm looking and he's like, shit, man. I was like, man, I told you, man, I gave that man that shit. And so Ice looking like with his head down. And I was like, shit, man, why you do that old scandalous ass shit, you know? Why you just couldn't take a man and stuff. He's like, man, Fast, man, we got locked down, and then I couldn't get it over there to him. So while we was locked down for them little 4 days, man, I smoked it, you know. He said, shit, I couldn't get out the room, and I figured that once I got out the room, I can get his stuff and I can take it back over there to him, and everything was gonna be all good. He said, but shit, we didn't really have nothing around here, so I got caught up in a jam or whatever. So when they was talking, DB was like, man, that's some more bullshit, man. You got to give me my shit, man. Where my motherfucking shit at, you know? And Ice is like, man, looking with his head down, like, shit, man, damn, man, you know? Because shit, when, like I said, in prison, when shit, you know, shit gets hectic around there, when you owe somebody anything up in there, I mean, when they come at you, you know what I'm saying, full throttle. They don't come at you just like on a nice tip or whatever. They come at you like they want to beat your motherfucking ass. So I'm looking at that like, shit, damn, man, you know? But shit, a few minutes later, that's when DB stole on him. Bam! Ice went back a little bit. He just covered his head up like this, so DB hit him again. Bam! He like this with his head down and stuff, like kind of holding his head. DB hit him again. Boom! And this time he fell. And when he fell, he's like, damn, man, you know what I'm saying? Come on, DB, man. Come on, man, with that old shit, man. DB like, get your motherfucking punk ass up. Get my motherfucking shit, you know what I'm saying? Give me my motherfucking shit. You owe me, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you get my motherfucking shit again. And then he hit him again. Bam! Motherfucker, you sorry ass motherfucker, you panhandling ass bitch. Hit him again. Bam! I'm like, damn, DB, man. DB like, shit, man, what's up, man? He's looking at me like he was about to hit me too. I hurry up and backed up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I ain't had nothing to do with it. I knew I wasn't in the wrong or anything like that because shit, like I said, I gave that shit to Ice, you know what I'm saying, to take over there to DB. That was on Ice, you know what I'm saying? Because shit, if Ice wasn't able to pay that man or get that man his stuff or do the delivery or do the drop or whatever, shit, that's on him because shit, he should have been able to do that because like I said, in there, Said you got to make sure that whenever you get somebody stuff, that you take it to them people, and it's the person that you supposed to give it to. You ain't supposed to give it to nobody else to do your little side hustles or anything like that. So they looking over there. I'm like, shit, damn, man. Ice is looking like this. His eyes starting to get a little big. You know what I'm saying? His lip right here, a little bleeding and stuff. And DB's like, man, make sure you get my motherfucking shit here in a couple days. And other than that, it's going to be a motherfucking another problem again. So then we kind of just walked off a little bit. You know, I went back to my little cell house. DB went back to his cell house. I don't know where Ice went. I guess he went back to his cell house. You know what I'm saying? But shit, like I said, you know what I'm saying? In prison, it can go down at any given time. And like I said, you don't want to be up in there owing nobody anything because, like I said, once you owe somebody something up in prison, it can get kind of bad for you. You can end up losing your life. Something could kind of happen to you because you was in a bad situation. But yeah, that boy Ice, I mean, he shouldn't have grabbed that. He should have took that pack over to that man, because if he'd have took that pack over to that man, it'd have been all cool. We wouldn't have to worry about nothing or anything like that. Everything would have been cool. So I stress, don't go to prison, because if you go to prison, you never know if you're going to make it out or not, you know. But yeah, this is your boy Fats. Hit that like and subscribe button for your boy and become a member of the Fats and Them team if you can. I really appreciate that.